Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about how to set up your textures and normal maps so that you have a nice asset ready to go into Unreal, or any game engine for that matter. So basically, once you have normal maps, the light will be able to catch, and it'll look pretty interesting. So what I like to do is start off by creating a cube. If you want to know what size it is, if you control click, it will create a cube that is exactly 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, and then you can scale it up. So that's what I've done here, and now I'm just showing a little bit of some of the attributes of the blend shader. If you want to make something dull but still have a bit of a specular highlight, play with the eccentricity and the specular roll-off. Now the UVs are the default UVs, which are kind of awkward and cubic. So what I'm doing is I'm placing a simple texture. You can slow it down and watch where I'm getting it from, but it's all coming from my source images in my set project directory. And then I fixed my UVs by hitting unitize, which takes all of my face planes and stretches them out into a cube of my texture. Alright, so now I'm just going to bring in a specular and a normal map. So here is my normal map, which you can see kind of has a nice good depression that I've created, and I just did this in Photoshop. We'll go over that in a few minutes, and then we'll bring in the specular to get a sense of what that looks like. Now, because I've made my eccentricity so dull, it wasn't very shiny. Now you can see the change of the light spilling over the surface. Okay, and if you change your UVs, it will scale up and down your texture repetition, your tile. And if I move my light, you should be able to see how the light plays off of that normal map using the spec and the color. Okay, so it's time to kind of jump into Photoshop and walk over how this could be done from scratch. So create a new file. I'm just making him 2K, so it's got plenty of space, and I'm just going to type in my initials here. Find an interesting font and place that somewhere in the center of the screen. So we're making some kind of a metal crate, perhaps, and make a new layer, and I'm just going to fill it. That's Alt-Delete to fill, and then I'm just making another selection and deleting out the inside. If I go to the Effects tab, I can add a stroke. Cool thing about this stroke is it will add a bit of a round edge across the outside and a different color. So if I want, now I can just make these little selections and fill them. Same thing, it's that Control-Delete or Alt-Delete depending on which color I want to use. And I can move this around till I'm happy. And now I can save this thing off as a spec map. It'll eventually be the one that I'm going to use to generate my normal map as well. So I like this little metal texture, so I'm just dropping that, copy pasted over the top, and using the different fill commands, in this case multiply, and I'm just trying to find a value of, I don't know, I want to pull down the coloring so I can turn this into my color map. I don't want those to be so bold with their black or white or whatever. Okay, so now I'm in Crazy Bump, and I'm going to load that spec map and call it a height map, and then I'm just going to take that to the negative values because I think it'd be cooler to be punched in rather than pulled out. Save that off, and then we can basically just quickly bring that in Maya. So assign a new blend shader, go find those 3 images and place them appropriately where they belong. When you do load it up as a bump map, make sure you change the bump to tangent space normal or it will not read quite properly. And now I'm just changing my UVs back to where they should be, and there it is. Now if you have one of these sides that's upside down, I'm just going to come in and rotate it so my UVs match. And lastly, I think we can look at the light source here in a second. Oh yeah, put the spec on. There we go. And now basically look at the light source, confirm that it's going to look good, and this is ready, essentially ready to output to Unreal. Oh yeah, I forgot I had bumped, or basically given a little bit of a bevel, which doesn't totally destroy your UVs nowadays. And I just wanted to have like an extra little cut across the side, knowing that I didn't have any texture there to be warped. Alright, so with that, look at it with some light and we can stop this recording. And this is ready to take, this asset's ready to take into Unreal. Enjoy. Talk to you soon.